Hello, my name is Álvaro Regalado, and I will talk a little bit about the poem of Whitman, Come Up from the Fields Father. Well, this poem is quite sad, I must add to this video, and it is a very dark, it's dark scened poem. In first place, when it starts in a very peaceful tone. However, as it progresses, it starts to become darker and darker. One of the main themes, in this case, I will say elements that has the poem is that at the very beginning it starts with a very clarity and amazing light that illuminates everything. So then we start to think about the person that possibly died, that is dead at the very end, and we think like we have the hope that perhaps that person is still alive. And to the scene, I think the author wanted to transport us to certain place, in this case the Civil War from the United States, for us to see how cruel life is, and how life changing is the loss of a son for a father, a mother, in this case the mother. Another element apart from the dark scene is that it really gives us like the scene and the position and the change. They come from a very wealthy and prosperous farm, and sudden the loss of the only son, well, male son, it's brutal, and we need to ask ourselves why it's so brutal. Well, because at that time, like, only men could go to war, and they were recruited for war, and only masculine, let's say male child, the masculine child could inherit the heritage of the family. So if you don't have a son, then it means that you don't have a headmaster of your family. And that sad feeling goes on and on and on and on after the second and third stanzas. Another element that I would like to come to life is the imagery that it gives us with the flashback and also the trees and everything. It gives us like a description of everything, and then our imagination will start to work and see what's going on, and we start to picture ourselves what is going on. Um, Perhaps due to the analysis of this, I have read that this is exactly from part of the author from the Civil War, and the mourning of the mother is, I think, the darkest place in the poem. And why is it darkest place? It is the darkest place because, as we have heard, when a mother or a father loses a child, it's like the worst feeling ever. It's such a feeling that we are not able to describe, because the natural order of the things is that sons, let's say child, your children, should bury your father and mother. It's not backwards. When it's backwards, it really hurts. So we're able to see the grief of the mother and understand the loss of people who have been in war. And the most let's say freaky thing about this is that it happened in a place when it was all joy and happiness, and then the ominous tremblings that comes up after that is a really creates a dark scene during the poem. Also, we must see the desperation, and after the mother mourns, she has some like suicidal attempts, like she starts to think very suicidal. So that is another element that we need to talk about, like the psychological um, factors that have been influencing the mother to start thinking that way. And the tone, I have to said before, that is grief stricken, like dark, and that's really like what I really like is like the change that comes from a light place full of light to a dark place, and that contrast between the tones is what I think is the most amazing thing of the poem.